Mark, just to give you a bit of an overview of Rob and Mark. They're young guys. They've bought over 215 properties in less than 4 years. So you need to listen to what these guys are going to tell you, because the information is absolutely invaluable. Amazing. They've got a £10 million deal analyzer. So they can basically plug information into this deal analyzer and it will tell you whether to buy or not. It's that simple. They've been working on it for years and years and years, and it's an amazing piece of kit. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to your host for today, Mr. Rob Moore.
We have a lot of things to cover today. Our goal for today is to teach you the 5 most important things that we believe you need to know about buying property now. The purpose of buying property is down to you. But I would like you just for a minute now to think right now very hard about why you're here and what you want. So that's what we will do for you. And we'll break it down into 5 simple: timing, strategy, rules, systemization, you know, and the difference between a buyer's and seller's market are the 5 things that, you know, we're going to talk about. The rest is down to you. So I would like you to, everyone got pen and paper? Mm-hmm. This is for you. This isn't for me, this is for you. Right, while you're doing that, it's very important that I introduce everyone to you, because it's not just about me and Mark talking to you about what we do and what we've done and how we've done it. Because although I believe that will be valuable for you, there's a lot of other people that I've put a lot of time and a lot of effort to getting people in this room that can help you, wherever you're at. Property has changed. Would everyone agree with that? Definitely. Yeah? The world has changed. Yeah? No shit. Yeah. This is, I mean, you'll probably know this, but this is pretty much how it worked from 01 to 07. You bought a property, you didn't have to know anything, you could walk into a estate agent, you've just watched Property Ladder, I'll buy that property, do you want a discount? Yeah, all right, okay, I'll give you 5%. You buy it, you get a bank to give you all the money, and sometimes they'll give you 20 grand on top, and you get 110% mortgage, and all of a sudden you're a professional investor, and then what happens is you sit down, and in 3 years' time you've made 50 grand. Yeah? And in the long term, over a few years, you could rent it out. Your rent probably wouldn't cover your mortgage. It probably cost you 100 quid a month, maybe 200 quid a month, but it didn't really matter because it was, you know, properties double every 7 to 10 years. Yeah? And then you made a load of money. But that's pretty much how it was. And of course, a lot of novices came into the market and made money. And a lot of companies set up and were, you know, buying properties that weren't really at discount, but it was still making people money if they could keep up with the mortgage payments. Yeah, so does everyone agree that's pretty much how it worked? Yeah. Yeah. And because, you know, there's a huge buzz around property, and oh yeah, you know, you just buy a house, and look, I've even got some figures for you here. In '95, the average property price across the UK was 55,000. These are taken off Nationwide, by the way. We've got various data sources. If you go to nationwide.co.uk, you can pick this data off yourself. Something to think about. There is a specific reason why I want to talk about 5 properties. Keep that in your mind. So now things are different. George Soros says we're in a super bubble. That's quite clearly popped. And what's happening now, if you remember that curve, and Mark will go into this in much more detail later on, so I will not ruin his parade. If that is the curve, that is the average, yeah? Mm-hmm. What's happening now? It's correcting. Yeah? That is what's happening. Would everyone agree with that? Yes. Okay, so this is what's happening now. What do you think that means? So, do you think the best time to buy was December 2007? No. Or which is there, or, don't know, January 2009. I mean, to be honest, this point, it's probably going to be January 2010, maybe even January 2011. I'm not going to pretend to have a crystal ball. Much more difficult, which is why 04, 05, 06, 07, even the best property investors were still really only getting maximum genuine 15, that's supposed to be 15% discount, because there's so much competition. Bingo! We have a legend in the room. Observe the masses and do the opposite. I love that. So, I won't write it down, you can remember it. Observe the masses and do the opposite. What are the masses doing now? Anyway, there's all these kind of things at the moment. So you still can do it wrong now. And we'll teach you, in our experience, because look, did anyone see that email I sent out admitting the mistakes we made earlier on in our... We did it. So we've learned. Hi, Julie. We've learned from those mistakes. What's the best way to learn?
Make mistakes.
When it bloody hurts. Yeah? There's a couple of things that hurt a bit more, but the one thing that hurts me the most is losing money. And when I lose money, I learn very quickly. You don't do that. And look, I'm not telling you, I'm not going to teach you a strategy because I love it, or because I'm proud of it, or because it's Rob Moore trademark, because it's not. It's just copied off the people who've made money. So I'm just teaching the strategy that's just made us the money. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Something to think about. So all these things, right, all these things on the screen that we used to talk about in 2004, 5, 6, 7, they still apply, don't they? Is it fair to say that if you build a good, profitable portfolio, that could act as a good pension for you?
Yeah.
Yeah? If you do it right. Is it fair to say that you could pass it on to your next of kin, your children?
Yeah.
And, you know, they could have a great life. At the moment, property is still potentially a good way to create financial freedom.
Yeah.
What if you bought a property at 30% below market value and it gave you £200 a month cash flow net? You do the maths, you just upscale, don't you? You get the first one right, you duplicate the model, and you just keep going. Yeah? So it's still pretty good. That's one of the biggest differences between 04, 05, 06, 07 and now. Tell me what it is, what I'm going to say. Read my mind. Cash flow.
Cash flow, yeah.
Absolutely. So you buy a property for 50 grand, it's worth 70, 75 all day long. Mark, what's a one-bed flat rent for us? 450, 425?
One bed, 425 to 450.
425 to 450. At 6% you're looking at £300. At 5% you're looking at a bit less. It's cash flow in that. And that's just a random example I've given you without even looking at or speaking to Gareth. And a lot of our properties have definitely started to cash flow, and I'll show you how. Right, on this slide is a letter that we received from Mortgage Express, one of our lenders. And you'll notice there, the new rate, 1.79%. The new mortgage payment, £159.57. The rent, £550. It's quite nice, isn't it? Let's even take out 100 or even 200 quid for all your costs. Is that still going to cash flow?
Yes.
What if you had 10 of them?
Specifically, I learned today that there is definitely money to be made in a downward turning market, which I never thought there was.
Excellent. I mean, it's one of the best one-day situations that I've been on for a long time.
Everybody doesn't know when the time is to get into the market, but I really do believe what I've learned today is that you can look at it from a different way. A downtrend can be actually good for some people, so that really excited me a lot.